All right, who else is left? Oh, we got a stand-up presentation. I love it. Yes, yes, you do. Yes, we want to see your face.
I just made a year with Exit and I'm a realtor.
Congratulations.
Mr. Bates, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Bill Bates. Hi, I'm Bill Bates. I'm a realtor with Exit Strategy Realty in Chicago, Illinois. Actively 40 years.
All right. All right, guys, anyone else? I feel like we're missing some folks. Do you want to go later because you're shy? Are you scared? Did everyone go? Oh, my Lord. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Good morning. If you are joining us from home, please mute yourselves. And for those of us in the room, this is being recorded. As a warning to the few of you that don't know me, I do talk fast. Sometimes I will talk over you and interrupt you. My apologies in advance. My enthusiasm sometimes will get the best of me. So why are we here today? First of all, thank you, Grace and Trudy. For anyone that doesn't know Grace or Trudy, wave your hands. These are amazing ladies. They are good friends of mine. They started out at Exit Strategy. They have formed their own amazing offices, and I'm lucky to have them still in great relationship, and we enjoy them very much. We're excited for what they're doing. And we decided to come together as a group because we've all trained, coached, mentored, and learned from each other. We both are, all three of us have been in the business decades. All three of us, we won't age ourselves too much. And we are missing one other person today, Wendy Lee, that her office is also open, and she will be working with us on another one of these as well. So we really want to collaborate with other Exit offices that we play with and learn from and just collaborate in a nice manner. So why are we here today, though, is that all three of our offices and every Exit agent across the US and Canada got a gift from corporate about, what, 6 weeks ago now, Grace? I'm trying to think, maybe 6 weeks ago. We all got the new Exit websites. And depending on what office you're at, maybe you have something, maybe you don't. You individually may have bought something, maybe you didn't. My big pet peeve is when I see people dropping a lot of money on a website, because before we say anything else, here's the reality, guys. And for those of you at home, I'm sharing my screen so you guys here can look it up. You know who's going to get the vast majority of traffic, whether you try your best or not, is going to be Zillow. That is, and I say majority, not a lot of hits. The majority of traffic will be going to Zillow. Case closed. Don't want to hear any other arguments because it's been like this for over a decade. Okay. What you need to then realize is that you can't be expecting people to come in and live on your website. They're going to have to come into your website because you have something different for them than simply an MLS search. Okay. So that was something that in our office, I had paid for Market Leader for years. We will continue to pay for it for a bit. As you guys know that are from our office, we're doing a different CRM. We're trying to get some stuff that are really like higher functioning. But in the meantime, corporate drops these agent templates on us. And I took one look at it and I'm like, oh my God, I have to have this. Well, what do I do with my existing website? So how many of you guys from any Exit office have a website that you pay for that's not something that the office gives you? I can't believe you're raising your hand.
Not me.
All right, so not a lot of people do, but some people do. And by the way, people that are not in this room are spending, some of them, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And here's the problem. You will not win against Zillow. And why are you trying to compete? Okay. I am not telling you not to have a website. I've had a website since 1998. The first month I was in business, I went out to whatever it was at that point. It may have been GoDaddy, and paid $10 for a website, slapped that on all my signs. And at that point, that was the coolest thing ever. Now, what happens is you go out there and everyone has a website. If you don't have a website of your own, I'm actually kind of questioning what your message is, because otherwise you're going to where to find out about you. So for those of you who doesn't have a website at all, no, not even GoDaddy, not even like your office website you forward to your profile, and who has no web presence whatsoever. I'm not talking social media. John Zimmer, that's true.
No, I don't have my own website. I just use the,
Okay, so you have one, but it's kind of, all right. So who's
Yeah,
not
I
even,
didn't understand
so
the
you're
question.
not really even probably using that much. If
no,
you're,
I'm not.
and then who's not even, who's using that has not? Did anyone raise their hand? No? Oh, okay, Edna, all right. Okay, you have one, you're just not using it. Okay, I love you. All right, so what do? Exit Corporate has found a solution for all of us. What I immediately realized as I really started to dive into these, and I'm going to actually turn everyone at home on mute because I'm hearing a little bit of an echo. Let me get this for you guys. Mute, everyone's muted at home. We will talk to you later, but you can watch. And again, thank you, Grace, for our lunch today from Portillo's. And then Portillo's, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what you said. I will eat from anywhere at this point. This thing's gonna get shaved down 10 minutes because I'm starving. And then Trudy brought us a dessert, so I'm really excited for that. And thank you, ladies, for this. Now, what do I have to present? Well, I would not cook you anything or bring you anything because I bothered all our sponsors to death and I can't cook. So all I can bring you is the tech stuff. Which, sometimes my knowledge is questionable, but today it's not, because I have played in the new websites. What do I like about them versus the old ones? The old ones from Exit Corporate. Now they're probably going to see this recording, but they can't see my face. So I'm going to say someone else said it. We're not great. I didn't think they were great at all. They were ugly. And in addition to being ugly, they weren't, you couldn't change anything on them. So I went out and dropped a bunch of money on Market Leader, which by the way, were ugly. And you couldn't change one on, but at least they were something for you individually. What I'm asking everyone to do now from any exit office is just stop spending money and energy anywhere else and use what Exit Corporate has given you. Has anyone besides me played with the new ones yet? Charles, Heather a little bit, Grace a little bit. She and I were talking about that earlier. No, but I wouldn't expect you to. I'd be shocked. Corporate had a webinar. And again, I'm going to pretend that someone else said. I'm going to blame Josh Berngard said the next 5 sentences to you. I did not think the corporate webinar, if some of you were on it, was super helpful. They were really talking to the franchisees, and I have people nodding in the room. We won't say where they're from. They weren't from my office. No, I'm just kidding. They all were nodding their heads. We liked the webinar. It was very nice. It was not super helpful. It was meant more for the franchisees, and it didn't dive deep. You know me, I'm going to sit there and go and play all night and be a tech dork and play in stuff because I love this stuff. This is what I actually love to do as much as like going out and selling real estate is like the marketing stuff. So I was obsessed. And here were a couple different things I was obsessed with. I have to log in first. So if you don't have your login codes, talk to your wonderful franchisee. If you're at my office, don't talk to me, talk to Laura because she really runs all this stuff. Where would we be without her? We don't know. What'd you say?
Do you want us to get on this?
No, I do not, because for right now, what I'm telling you is that I think the Wi-Fi in here with everybody on together will be bad. The minute that I get done with the Zoom though, I would welcome you guys to actually during lunch, start to play in yours so we can get some questions answered. So here's what I loved. Number one, when you go up here in the top right-hand corner, every single one of us has this. So I don't care what exit office you are from, and this video maybe will make it around across the US and Canada. If it does, every office, every agent has this. So this, don't get scared. This is and if you're at home, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you. This is the office domain. I will warn you, at my office, Exit Sells Chicago is going to look very different very soon because I'm switching that to the Exit Realty corporate franchisee site. Okay. For us as agents, this isn't about franchisees today. This is about you as an agent. You will not have that drop down menu. You will just have yours. My screen always looks a tiny different than yours because me, Grace, and Trudy have that franchisee role. So this is your exit website dashboard. This thing absolutely, actually, is pretty easy to navigate once you get used to it for 10 minutes. And Charles is nodding his head with me because he's been there. One of the first cool things on the old websites on Market Leader, if you're in my office, anything that I've seen before, you do not have tracking capabilities. So you sit there and you go, no one's going on my website. Well, by the way, probably not that many people are because I've never seen you talk about your website, most of you. And if you do go on your website, it looks like the Death Star because there's nothing on it at all. Because quite frankly, the person that paid for that website for you paid for something that he could afford for everyone if you're in my office. And guess what? It wasn't that great. So you couldn't customize it. And I was aware of that. It was economies of scale. That's what we could do for you at the time. So Exit Corporate realized that, and they created these great websites. So you can now track, by the way, who is on it. So that was one big thing. What I'm going to tell you right away is don't just rely on this little statistics thing to the left. You are going to use Google Analytics. Google Analytics. You have two options with these beautiful new website templates that are free from corporate. You can use Google Analytics or Facebook Pixel. Am I absolutely talking over most everyone's like reality? Yes, but to be very honest with you, mine too. I've used Google Analytics for years until we bought Market Leader, and then it didn't work anymore. I used to use it on my old website, and every time I post something on social media, I could see the hits come. And when I didn't post anything on social media, there would be no hits. Very simple. If you don't talk about it, people aren't going to go there. You are not going to beat Zillow, so stop trying. You have to do something different. I'm going to show you what to do. I sat there last night because I've used analytics for so long. I can show you in 5 seconds how to create that. I could not figure out Facebook Pixel for 2 hours. 2 hours. I could not figure out how to find it. Once I finally figured out how to find it, trying to add it, it just is not that intuitive. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stick with Google Analytics. If you want to go in there and you love Facebook Pixel, and not a single person in here seemed like they knew what that was even really. I asked corporate, I asked the development team, I asked Key Assad. How many of you guys are in Key's training? Okay, Key's training is amazing. Key will talk to you. Key's like, well, they're kind of a lot alike. He goes, there's some stuff I like in Pixel. There's some stuff I like in Analytics. I played with both. I could not get Pixel to really be, even for me, presentable. So I'm not going to present it to you today. But what I will tell you is now you have the ability to track what you're doing. So like everything else, if we track it, then we can figure out what's going wrong. So if you tell me no one's going on my website, and then I say, okay, well, did you get analytics installed on it? Yes. Can we go look at the website together? Yes. If you and me, or you and Grace, or you and Trudy are in coaching, we'll be able to sit there and flip our screen and go, okay, show me your website. Show me the last time you posted about it. What is the content on it? So speaking of content, once you are in there, there's a couple different things you're going to need to do. And I think that the wonderful developers at Exit Realty International realize that none of us, including me, are HTML code people. So they made everything so this is like templated, plug and play, but completely customizable. The first thing you need to know is they're going to want you to set it to active. That's pretty easy. But then they're going to ask you some stuff about, like, do you have a domain name? We're going to talk about domain names in a bit. A professional photo, a bio. This is stuff that, by the way, if you're not doing this already, I would be very alarmed. And please talk to me, Trudy, or Grace right away if you're struggling with that. Would you agree with that? That's, yeah, I think that about all three of us are like, that would be, I would have a problem if you were struggling with that. And that's what the three of us are here for. Then you're going to go into activating your website. Now, because I like to be transparent and I don't like to BS you, here's what these websites don't have. They don't have IDX. What is IDX? IDX is a feed from the MLS. That is expensive. You know me, I like free. Free 99 is my favorite price point. Okay. So in the world of free 99, you're not going to have IDX anymore. What did I just tell you earlier? You're not going to beat Zillow. So why are you trying? What I'm focused on with my coaching program is our MLS. I finally realized that, yes, I can pretend that I'm going to fly to Canada and hang out with you or Zoom with you. But the reality is our local MLS, no matter which board you're in, has some of the best tools of any MLS out there. One of the tools they have is HomeSnap. How many guys are using HomeSnap right now? Almost every single person from all the offices in the room. That is amazing. If you ask Wendy, I know she's using it too. So what does that mean? That means that then you do have the MLS for every single client. So what are you going to do? You're going to put a link to your HomeSnap app on your website. And that is the end of the conversation about the MLS. Because have you ever actually tried to go on, for those of you in my office, those god-awful market leader websites I've been paying for you for years? They're awful. That search is a joke. It is better than nothing. However, I sat there 2 years ago, for those of you that have actually been on my page, not many, and I couldn't tell you if you were or weren't because there were no analytics on it. If you went right on the first page, it said, click here for my MLS, for my buyer app, because I knew that the search wasn't that great. And by the way, there's people that say the Zillow search is awful, so they go on Redfin, or they go on Remax, or they go on Exit Realty. So I'm tired of even hearing about it. If you look at the analytics that are out there in the real world, Zillow gets over 50% of all the consumer traffic in the world. But the problem is guess what? For Zillow, those people aren't committed to anybody out there. They're sitting there and they're not, that's why I keep getting notifications. 60657 is open for Zillow. It keeps opening up because everyone's dropping their Zillow ads. Because guess where the relationships are built? With you and me, with the people that they meet or get referred or meet at an open house or get a direct mail piece from, not the stranger third in line that they may or may not click on, that then cold calls them or ignores them. For those of you paying for leads, I know what you're doing. You're either cold calling them and annoying them to death or ignoring them altogether. Very few people are doing the right thing, which is in between. So what do? We're going to sit here and we're going to work with our templates that are given to us and not spend any money. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Now that we are online with free.99 at all three of our offices and Wendy's and whoever else is listening to this in our MLS, have the HomeSnap Pro for free. We're going to agree then we don't need the MLS IDX search. At some point in the future, I bet you there will be some cool things coming from corporate that you will get more. I would not pay a dime for it. And they're going to come out from like the corporate dungeons and get me for this. Don't pay for anything else. If there is an offering of, oh, well, you can get the MLS search on your website for $199 a year. I'm not paying for that. Here's why. It's not going to be that great because Zillow's isn't that great and they have billions of dollars. So why are we paying to compete? Don't spend that money. Okay. I have other places you can spend it. And Grace and Trudy probably do too. And it won't be to feed the three of us. So now we're in these. What are your options? I want to really do a overview of the options so you don't get overwhelmed with them, because I played with this stuff for weeks late at night. That's why these bags under these eyes, Botox can only do so much, is that you have options. One of the biggest options is when you go in here, you've got to pick out some really cool stuff. Have you seen my website?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're an exit strategy, I've shoveled it down here. I know. Look at all these wonderful things that I did on my own. I didn't do any of this. I built this only from their stuff. Okay. Only from their stuff. That scrolling city view at the top is Chicago. Now, I'm not 1,000% sure it's Chicago, but I recognize several buildings. So unless they morphed it into that, so you have the option to do 8,000 different of they have a ton of different scrolling videos. By the way, it doesn't seem to scroll, at least on my mobile. It doesn't seem to scroll on my mobile, but it's a nice static view. There's also views of the suburbs. For those of you that have been at Exit a long time, Grace, Gus may have remembered this. There was nearly fistfights when I put up the template that we have now on Market Leader, which was a cute little picture of brownstones that looked like Lincoln Park. I have no idea what it really was. And someone who's no longer with us goes, well, I don't sell those. And 2 weeks later sold one of those, which drove me nuts. But she goes, I don't sell those. And I said, well, I don't sell farms where you live. So we got into a fight, and I'm still friends with her. I'm sure she'll hear this at some point. But she was right. It's not about what I sell. It's about what you sell. So corporate knew that, and they have farms, fields, cities, suburbs, random stuff that I don't even know what it is. So you can play and pick whatever template works for you. I sell condos in the city. I'm no longer selling in Indiana and Michigan. I only sell in Chicago. I probably won't be out in the suburbs too much more either, because I'm really focusing on not driving myself to death. For those of you that know about my little car accident in February. So I'm not doing that anymore. You may want to consider doing the same, which is another reason why I got you all in the same room, is we can all collaborate together and everyone can eat. There's plenty of food for everyone. That plays nice. So what do these different templates look like? Let's go into website settings. So if you go at the top and click on website settings, this is where you're going to spend the majority of your time, unless you really geek out like me, and then you go into the custom stuff. So you're going to start out with set layout. Let me save you hours and tell you, I don't like 2 out of the 3. Here's why. Well, we already said we're not going to be IDX focused because we're not paying for that. Okay. So option 3 is already out. Unless you have hundreds of listings, I really don't, there's a couple of my listings that, like, I have a parking space. Do you really think that I want that scrolling across the top? Most people in here don't have lots of listings. So you're probably not going to need that. The few that do, Wayne Beals has an amazing inventory. He's going under contract so quick. So what's he gonna have? One? It just doesn't work unless you're like repping 3 subdivisions or a big building. And right now, there's just not a lot of that new construction. So then if you scroll to the top, you have agent focused, all about me, still has my listings and my contact info. It's cute, nothing wrong with it. If you have no time to do any content whatsoever, go with agent focused, okay? So those are your options, agent focused. All the way down at the bottom, Mike Schulte isn't on this call today for any of you that know Mike. Mike would love to be in the agent sponsoring template. There may be a few of you that are like, you know what, I'm slowing down a little bit, or I want to focus somewhere on another business that I have, or I just want to maximize the exit system. You can do this. It still has agent information, featured listings, but it also has recruiting right at the top. Why I did not choose this template for myself, even though I'm in growth mode for the office and for exit in general. Here's why. And there's a spelling error. Oh my God, that's going to drive me nuts. Recruiting, not recruiting. Recruiting. That's the Southern people. All right, recruiting. All right, corporate. If you're listening, fix that. Thank you. Now, here's what I did. I did the blog one. Second from top. But my word of advice is, if you don't have a lot of time to play, not saying that I do, but I like to play. If you like to play and write and be a content king or queen, go to the blogs. I chose the blog one. The reason why is, as you all know, I barf content. I mean, it really is. It comes out always. It's like that $1 million listing, always be expanding, always and always. It's coming out. My content, I can't stop. So if you are not a content king or queen, don't do the blog post one. But if you have stuff to share, and I look at Josh with a font of knowledge, Gus with a font of knowledge, all the, Mary, 30 years in the business. You have some people in this room that have so much cool stuff to share. Bill Bates, attorney. You got people that are doing awesome things here that have also done really cool things in the rest of their life. And I don't always feel it spills out from just your bio. And you have the opportunity to do things like neighborhood specific stuff. I'm looking at my suburban ladies right over here with all the wonderful neighborhoods that they represent, and they want to get to be number one. And how do you do that? Why is it this year I've sold more multi-unit buildings than I ever have before? Because I'm talking about house hacking and multi-unit buildings more than ever before. I barf content out about it on YouTube. On LinkedIn, I have a blog. All this other place, you can bring it all together here. So what does the agent specific or the blog specific website look like? It has a scrolling screen of the blogs. And you don't have to be a photographer. You don't have a custom content, although you can. The only thing I'll tell you is you do need some content. And you need to think about that before you do it. So if you don't have time to do the content, I would go ahead and do the agent focused one and make it simple. And that, or the potentially agent sponsoring. But again, I think majority of us, I want you guys to sell real estate. The more real estate you sell, the easier it is to get in front of people, to actually influence them to potentially come to Exit Realty. If you sit all day and just try to recruit, talk to Mike Schulte, because he's really the best at that. I couldn't stand it. I like to attract. I don't like to recruit. So I would say go on that. That is your other option. So once you're done with that, here's the fun part. Agent or home backgrounds. This I lost an hour and a half and like half a bottle of wine to. Look at all the different things you can do. So there are all the different, there's moving ones, there's non-moving ones. Now, there's a very generic house. I don't see a skyscraper or a farm in the background. That could be any of us. And they, different seasons, different backgrounds. Don't feel like you need to change. How cute is that for fall? There it is for winter. Market leader, we had the same brownstone for 7 years. 7 years. And someone else in the office wanted a farm for 7 years. So this, you can do whatever you want. Look at this very nice, cute, luxurious suburban. Don't do that one that has a palm tree in the front. Think slightly. There's San Francisco. Think slightly. But there's a lot. I'm not going to scroll through all these. You like interior stuff? People say that they love interiors. This was a great one. This one was my first one that I was playing with before I launched and took nicklibert.com to this template versus my old market leader one. I'm not going to sit there and play in these all day with you, but they're really cool. So you have static ones, you have video ones, then layout specific settings. So depending on what layout you choose, you'll have different options in terms of description. And by the way, I would love to continue to collaborate with you on these. This is one of the things I geek out on and I research a lot is like consumer traffic, what they call user UX, user experience. I have friends that really truly like are master's degrees in this stuff. I am clearly not. So I learned from them. Their comment to me was, oh my God, that website, who did that for you? I'm like, I did that with obviously someone else's help, corporates. So the other thing that I will tell you is no matter which layout you choose, guys, no matter which layout you choose, they are extremely mobile optimized. And that is key. Do you know why? Remember when I told you that Google Analytics is great because you can start to track things and learn about your people, learn about your audience, learn about how many of them, by the way, are mobile. So in Google Analytics currently,
Can you tell me where you got that from again?
analytics.google.com.
Oh, okay.
Good question. So Heather, thank you. Analytics.google.com. How much does it cost to track your stuff on analytics? My favorite price, free 99. Don't forget the 99, free 99. So here is some fascinating statistics. Here's my average users, blah, blah, blah. Here's where they live, which was funny because when I was over in London, I was tracking this. And guess what? I met a few people in London. I told you guys I didn't step foot in a bar, but I did say hi to people on the street. And I did give out my mobile business card twice. And magically that week, I had people from London. But today, I want to show you how many people are mobile. This blew my mind. I should have done a quiz and said, how many people do you think it was? Scroll down, and it is 60% of people over time. Now, this is funny. As of today, it's 51-48. You know why? Because last night I sat on there half the night on my desktop. So it was mostly just me. If we go into for like the month, let's do the month. So let's say over the last week. And then we can compare to the week before. This is all analytics. So 67%, see where my cursor is? 67% mobile. And this has actually been trending over 65% week after week after week for me. So what is that telling you? People are on mobile. How often are you on your desktop anymore versus your laptop? Or actually versus your cell phone? I'm on my cell phone. I'm so much less on my laptop and desktop than I used to be. This was very interesting to me. You can drill it down to what device they're using. I really don't care, but here, if you ever want to know iPhone versus Android and that kind of stuff, iPhone, at least in my little world, 53%. Then there's the people that don't talk. And then you've got Samsung, then some other iPhone. I mean, it's just crazy the way they drill this stuff down. Another big thing is once you start to build out your pages, you're going to be figuring out what pages they're living on, what pages do they like, what pages do they get on and off on. Fascinating stuff that we will not dive into today because I'd love to have a 2.0 class version of this with our friends, okay? But that's the value of knowing that this is why you need an upgrade, a free 99 upgrade to your existing website. Because most of us either, if you're in my office, you had the market leader ones that, again, I think we're growing out of them. And, depending on what you've built on your own, some of you right here in my office even have paid for your own website. A lot of them just aren't mobile friendly anymore. So let's talk about what you do next. Are we surviving so far? No one needs a break because I smell the food might be here. I'm going to make you wait. So after the layout specific stuff, about me is simply your bio. I have a bio thing up on YouTube. If you need help, Grace and Trudy can help you write beautiful bios as well. Everybody's going to bring their own life experiences. All I will say is I love to hear about your background. I love to hear about your passion for real estate. No matter who you are, you've got a great story. And some of them, like we pull out of you from like your past life. What did you do before this? And say how that now relates to your real estate career. Even if it was, I bought my first place, it was an awful experience. So I think at least 2 of you in here mentioned to me was your actual experience, which is cool. Not cool that you had a bad experience, cool that that's why you got into real estate because it shows a passion. If you are not new anymore and you've got all kinds of stuff you can talk about, that's wonderful to do that. This bio should be cut and paste from here, the same as it's on LinkedIn, the same as it's on Exit Realty corporate site. on any other sites that you're doing, your social media, you will find Nick Libert has dedicated his entire adult life, blah, blah, on every single bio page I have. And if you find one that doesn't say it, let me know, because I've missed one. And you can always update these quickly. What I love about these also is that unlike if you're going to blog, unlike a lot of the places that you can blog, including our old websites, this is really quick to go in and change and customize and move them around. So not only can you move the templated stuff at the top and around, you can also move a lot of the content around and make some stuff featured and some stuff not. So there's the about me. Then you can click on the next. See, it's just going through a checklist. Everything is a checklist with them. Then there's the content visibility. Again, I'm not going to necessarily use everything. Right now I am. That's kind of up to you guys what you play with. And every time that you change something, by the way, once you're done with this particular thing, you can go back into the home screen and then preview your website. And it'll be a live preview with the changes.
What is the button?
The button.
It had your list, learn with Libert, then it had your bio, and underneath it said button.
On the actual website?
On this, you were just showing us?
Yes, here it is. Yes. What are you telling? What are you
So
asking?
You were just showing us.
Yes.
You were like, you type in
Uh-huh.
your bio, you would scroll down underneath your bio that you just had, and then whatever.
Yeah.
On settings.
Oh, on your about me, Nick, you gotta go back into your.
It said button underneath.
Okay. Give me a second. I'm not seeing where you're talking about.
Go to number 4.
Okay.
about me.
Okay, go back to about me.
Scroll.
Scroll down.
Oh, it's update your account.
Okay, update your account. That is not my button. That is theirs saying that that is updating your account, your profile. So this is, so at the top, Josh, this is actually a good question. So Josh is saying, what was that button? It says about me. This will import the information you have entered into the My Profile section. So you notice there's not a button to edit it there. At the bottom, that button that Josh was asking about, that when you click on update account, it'll take you to the resource center. Yes.
Button, you can do 500 words.
Okay, that's not the same area. So you're in a different spot. So then that's gonna go, I think you're gonna go back to layout. Here, Josh, look,
Oh, okay.
layout specific settings. Now, what Josh is asking about now is, and we will have Q&A at the end too, Josh. So we may ask for 1 or 2 stops to take notes. But for this specific question, he said, see where it says title, then description, and then button. So button was right here where you can choose what's in that button. You can customize these almost ad nauseum. Like literally you can play in these all night if you're Nick Libert and have no life. But please have a life. But it really is cool stuff. So does that answer your question? Okay, so again, completely customizable. So if you wanted your button to say, I hate Nick, you can make your button say, I hate Nick. But don't do that. I'll come find you. I'm tracking every single one of you. Just kidding. But I am going to ask you to track your website trackers and do Google Analytics. Again, it's the easiest one. It is free 99. And then you go into analytics.google.com. If you do not have a Google or a Gmail account, I'd strongly advise this be the week that you move. No, nope. It's just, they're going to ask you to connect to are you a Google user? And they're going to ask you to use. So I have one Google Gmail account that controls all my stuff. You'll remember, if you don't have Gmail, who is using something else besides Gmail as your primary email? AOL, right? What are you? I know. Don't do that. And you raise your hand too, Josh.
I would go there, so I think Outlook 360.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll come back to those. I don't, you can use whatever you want. Here's my only concern is that the less inboxes you are in, the better. Lena, how about you? Gmail. Okay. So you're on Gmail. Okay. Everyone else except these 2 troublemakers right in the center of the room are on Gmail. Here's you can use whatever you want. More and more of the world's integrations of everything else seems to be going to Gmail. So for example, our new CRM, which we're not going to make it by noon. So if you guys registered for that, we'll have a recording of that. That's not my session. A lot of the stuff from corporate, a lot of the stuff from everywhere else, it's going to still work with other emails. It's never going to not, but it just seems like, okay, here's another integration where I can sit there, upload from YouTube, go on my Google Analytics, go into my email, go into my calendar, which works with the office calendar, which works probably with half the other calendars around there. Just seems like Gmail is more and more where everyone is. Just a thought. So whatever you do not have to pay for anything to have the tracking. And you don't have to be in Gmail. You can be with AOL, but they will ask you to create a Google account.
I do have.
You have a Google account, perfect. So you can then go into Google Analytics and they'll give you this god awful code to cut and paste, and that is your website tracker, okay? That's gonna give you very, very valuable information. There's my attempt at the Pixel. It worked barely. Don't do Pixel. I would just say use Google Analytics, because if we're all in the same thing, then I can coach you on what is working and not. Because if you're not talking about these things, it is no mystery to me why when I opened up my content on Gmail and all of a sudden, or my Google Analytics, and you know what had all the hits was the marathon. Why? Because I was talking about the marathon. I will bet you when tomorrow I start talking about something else that I'm going to be talking about, that will be the page that gets the most hits. So it is, you are what you eat and you are what you talk about.
I love that it does that automatically.
Isn't that cool? It just is if you have something to say, I have not seen a better content specific website or a blog. So this is a lot easier than trying to integrate something else into your existing stuff. Yes, you can do WordPress. Nothing wrong with that. I've been sending you guys to WordPress for years if you were having trouble in Market Leader. This is just much better. Let's talk about SEO. Oh man, guess who has not done nothing with SEO? Me. Here's what I want to caution you about with SEO. If you are going to try to say Chicago condos and lofts for sale, good luck, sucker, on getting anywhere near the first page without spending any money. I will not spend any money on SEO, but what I will do is go hyper local, East Lakeview, West Lakeview. Cheryl, what subdivision are you in?
The trails.
The trails, you know, whatever that is, the trails of Palos Heights or whatever. I know that's not your neighborhood, but just for privacy's sake, because I gave someone's home address on this one time, like we were just using an example and they got very angry at me. So Cheryl doesn't live anywhere near Palos. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
So
it's a cruise from here.
It's a long drive. So what that tells you though, is that there is the functionality with these. For those of you that really will geek out and play in SEO, you can absolutely blow people's minds. And you can actually get to page one organically, because there's people that will blow through the top three, those paid things that someone's spending tons of money to do, to find the people that are naturally talking about the trails, East Lakeview, Diversey Harbor, whatever, condos for sale with you of Diversey Harbor. You know, you've got to really think about it for a second, have a strategy to do this, but it's absolutely doable. It just takes some thought. So I have a whiteboard at home, as some of you guys know, and it's now installed into my wall permanently. So on that whiteboard wall, I'm writing out the neighborhoods that I want to focus on, and then I can input all the SEO stuff. All right. We will have an SEO class another day. As you can see, I played in this for dozens of hours to get as far as I am, so that you can streamline and spend probably 2 hours. I think this is a Friday night project. Till you get to the dorky stuff like the SEO, which I'm not even doing yet. Because again, here's the reality. Unless you're going to go hyper local and be the neighborhood expert, you're going so far and large that no one else, you know, you're not gonna have any traction. I don't want you to waste your time. So that's a harsh conversation, but it's real. Okay. Additional SEO. This is way over my head, but it will not be soon. I will dork out for another weekend and do this. So stay tuned on that. And then you're done. Okay. You are done at that point, unless you start building out custom pages. Custom pages are especially for the blog heavy ones, but they can be on anyone's. So you can have local and you can have community or news and community. So far, there is no capability to change out those two names. So what I'm doing is community for me is like realtor community and then hyper local stuff. And news is more like look with Libert, learn with Libert, my usual algorithm garbage. You know, the allegorithmy, what is that word? Anyway, don't ask. We'll come back. That's a story for another day. But you can, everything here, you can move them up and down. You can make things featured. So you can blow out the content. You know, some of you I see, I'm kind of trying not to look at Kim Tracy right away, but I'm instantly thinking Kim Tracy, because you have such great information and you have such great content. Here's what you can do. I literally thought of this when I thought of you when I did one of these, is that you can go in and you can put all your videos, anything it likes podcasts. So for those of you guys that don't like video, you can do a podcast. It likes, you can insert YouTube videos if you do like videos. We go into, so we're gonna go into.
Is this pulling from your stuff by itself?
Is it pulling from my stuff by itself? My stuff, be more, I need to understand what you're asking
I
first.
mean, you put things on YouTube all the time.
Yes.
So you go right on
No.
it? Oh,
Why would I want to put all my garbage from YouTube on there? No, I want to hand select and create a message. So no, it's not fully automatic. There is the capability to, if you're doing a SoundCloud, if you've got something like that, or Spotify where you've got a podcast, it will put your entire podcast in. Now, Josh, you actually may be onto something that I haven't thought about yet, is you could, if you have a playlist on YouTube and you wanted to embed that playlist from YouTube. This may be a little advanced for some people, but I'm willing to. Do you have a lot of YouTube videos up? You do. Awesome. So if you go into, we'll go to mine for now, so we don't put you on the spot, but we will. Okay, then this could go real well or real bad real quick. I may have to give Josh a hug in the corner after this. Or you may have to give me one because I'm rude. All right, what is your channel? Okay, that's easy. And guys, he's got a Buzzer Real Estate shirt on today. He has new testimonials up. How many of you guys are using Rate My Agent?
I'm working on it.
You're working on, okay. So that is something that, by the way, that is, they're gonna have a little emoji that will also spit out without you having to update it regularly, that stuff.
Hello, my name is
Ooh,
Joshua
I like this
Berngard.
better than mine. Okay, so that we are, look at all this. This is perfect. So if he's got a playlist, then you should be able to embed that playlist into your channel. Home body weight workout. God. Oh. It was nice to see everyone back. Woo, got hot in here. Okay, so created playlist. I have no idea what some of the actually that is on you, not me. Mine we would have to leave the room and turn on all the lights, and it would be real bad. Bye everyone. I'll be at Remax in a corner that no one talks to me at. So
Hello,
he's
my
got
name
these
is
videos.
Joshua
So I am going to show you. So Josh, in theory, what you should be able to do, and I haven't played with this yet, but I'm willing to do with you. I know you like to automate stuff. The blogs are not necessarily automated because you're going to want to talk about content and spin that particular content. But if you wanted to, I think you can embed a playlist the same way that you can embed at any point an actual video. So this is your content before I click on it, right? The one most all right. I love live training. So my favorite one was the one time that I had, I did not know, and I had my text messages running on the side. And it was a Friday, so my friends were getting ready for Friday night. And let me tell you the things that were going on that we did not ever need to see or hear about again. So you can, most people are used to the copy feature, okay? I want you to embed. And so when you go in, you can embed the entire thing. So Josh, you can embed your entire playlist. My problem is with that though, is that most of the time what I've seen on YouTube is the playlist kind of is just like random. It's not always the newest thing first. Right. So I don't think that may be the best thing, but play with that. I'm curious if you can spend an hour this weekend and play with that. What I will show you that has worked is that my podcasts. So most of you guys know I have a podcast because I am a podcast dork. Yes, because I clicked a playlist that was not yours or mine. All right. So if you go into mine and you go into news, actually go into community. So this is something that then you go into learn with Libert. You know, my algorithm, not algorithm, allegory. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The little things that no, the things that where it's cute. Alliterate. Thank you, Kim. So Kim, back to you for a second with all your content. So Josh, see what I have embedded in here? I have my playlist embedded here. I have my agent playlist. I have my consumer playlist. And see, those are literally live up to the moment with what that I put in there. So, and then there's obviously videos as well. So you're not going to completely automate this stuff. This has to be, this is not an RSS feed. I think there's an RSS feed from this that could go out to the world. I don't know. But And that is also something that because I've played with this, I kind of have the ears of corporate. So we're learning this together because not a lot of agents have really dug deep in this. And I have a lot of more work to do. So they may have a button in here that I just haven't pressed yet. So, but for right now, Josh, get your website started.
Yeah.
So, and because if you look at the stuff on mobile, it looks so good. And with 67% of the content or 67% of the eyeballs coming from mobile, we have to be conscious of what we look like on mobile. What else? So that is, I believe, the basics of what I wanted to show you. But I would like to entertain some questions from home, and then we will do those quickly and get us into work. Question about the IDX domain request. Would you recommend us? Ooh, this is actually a good question. Would you recommend us requesting a different domain other than, oh my gosh, Tabrin, good job. And my apologies to Tabrin. He got the brunt of Hurricane Libert over the last 24 hours when my home renovation was really at its lowest, aka no power. So Tabrin, great job on that question. What works best to keep it simple? That was not a prompted question. All right, now let's go into that. I've had the same domain name for 23 years. I don't care what you put as your domain name, as long as it is not explicit. Okay, so Your Naked Realtor does not work for me, and I'm assuming it won't work for Grace or Trudy either, because they are much classier ladies than I am. But I would say this: don't put the word exit in it, because number one, I hope you're at exit forever, but it's not about exit. It's about you. And I don't think either one of these ladies or Wendy would disagree either. It is you run, you control, you are the driving force behind it. We just happen to be the house that you come home to and that you coach with. Charles.
Also, when you do set up your name, exit the corporate, they will vet your domain name before they allow you to have it.
Correct.
So you can't put anything in there unless it's out there.
Approval, but your name, you know, they did not take 5 seconds to say Nick. I mean, they don't want to get into it. But that Nick Libert, you know, no one else wants that name. It is available. Your name, if you do not have, if you like, for example, let's use Wendy as an example, since we're going to be collaborating with her. Wendy Lee probably was already taken. Wendy Lee Realtor may not been. Wendy Lee sells Chicagoland. What you don't want to do, and they say it right in all the research I've been doing. There's a lady that I absolutely adore that she was with me at Keller Williams for years, and she was the #1 agent there, and she had like 8,000 domain names. Loft this, loft, Lincoln Park loft, condos this, condo that. Guess what? Google and all the other search engines many years ago goes, nice try, lady, to everybody, men and women. Nice try, people. It's about the content. It's about the meta tags, about all that junk that I just showed you in the back end that I haven't done yet. It is not about the name of the domain. So I have one domain. You're spending $10, probably 11, whatever that is, with GoDaddy. Okay. What should it be? I do not care. I have mine as my name. Some people say that's too, oh, it's the Nick show. Well, you know, come on the Travel Channel with me, ladies. It's yours can be marypetrie.com. It can be Mary Sells Chicagoland. Sellshomes.com. Easy. It can be what you do. It can be the name of your team. It can be, you know, there was a time period in my life that, you know, I was younger and even messier, much younger, much messier. And I decided that I did not want to be Nick Libert anymore. Not a name change or social security number change, although my credit was bad enough, I probably should have had one. But I decided I was Skyline Real Estate. Remember, you also can't mess with IDFPR. So talk to Grace, Trudy, or myself if you have questions. So you have to be careful. I love what Mary just said. So if I don't want to be Nick Libert anymore, but I want to be Skyline, sellingtheskyline.com. My problem with that is that the relationship is with you. I have not met a single agent that, you know, you think of the top 3 realtors in Chicago. I won't mention their names, but I'm friends with 2 out of the 3. Third one, they're on fire. We have somebody else get the water, but I'm just kidding. They're great people. One of the things that I would say though is that all 3 of you think of them. You're not thinking, I can't even think of the name of their team. I think of them. What do you think the mailers are going to have? Your picture or picture of the skyline? Skyline, sellingtheskyline.com. No, nicklibert.com. Okay. So if you want to have what you do in there as a passion, that's wonderful. But just remember, most people are thinking of you. Brian Buffini, Grace, me, and Trudy have all taken the Brian Buffini program. We all love it. Brian Buffini has the mayor campaign. You are running for mayor. Did Lori Lightfoot, whether you like her or not, have a thing that said, Scott, runningtheskyline.com? No, Lori Lightfoot or whatever the website was, .com. She was running for mayor. What are you running for? Top realtor in people's minds. Are they even going to remember their team? Because you're fighting to even be remembered your name by them. Okay? Let your content sell you. Because what did I say? To bring this full circle in under an hour so you can eat and we can do some Q&A. You are going to not beat Zillow. So stop trying. You need to be you and sell them with your content and value. The embedding situation with Josh, good question, because now Lana, star of Exit, another star of Exit. Can you embed your TV show? Yes. It will only embed. You know what, Lana? I don't know the answer. To me, it would not make sense. First of all, why is there beautiful videos? If you have not seen Lana's cool videos that she, her little series she has, their reality show on Fridays, it is a lot better than Selling Chicago, and it doesn't take 8,000 hours. It is beautiful. Victoria, who's in the room, I can't turn all the way around. What's the name of your show, Victoria?
Spilling the tea on real estate.
Spilling the tea on real estate. It is the coolest thing. Content. I don't know why those videos would be private. So if they are private, okay. Okay, Lana, it should, well, say if it would pull private videos, it should have, if you do the playlist, no, it better not pull private videos. I'll be out of business in 2 minutes. Just kidding. Oh, come on. Get some jokes going. Okay. It will only pull public that I know. If you have a video that's private that you want to share on your channel, why would you make it private? I think I misread that though. So that is it from our.
Nick, what I was asking was because I do videos.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do videos on, I guess I do videos for people of units that I wouldn't want to show. So I put them in as private, but it goes through YouTube, so I can send them a link. So I was just hoping it doesn't pull those. Is what I
Okay,
was asking.
so good. That's actually a great question. It also goes back to my privacy issue. So the thing is that this is not a feed from YouTube. Josh is asking about, can he put a feed together of a playlist? I haven't played with that. Lana, it is definitely not that automatic. You are going to manually embed. So let me go back to Josh's YouTube example. This is a very nice video, by the way. See where it says share? Let me close out the chat. See where it says embed? You're going to embed that video. So that is one video. Okay. It's not going to go crazy into Lana's private videos of client listings or my private videos that are not listings. It ain't going to go there. So that is a good question. As far as something automated of like a public feed, it's a little bit over my pay grade. So we're going to learn about that. And maybe that's something that Josh can play with as he builds his first playlist, which you all have the video from me on how to build a playlist. Charles, last question, then I want to eat this fabulous food.
Okay, so I've done most of it. Can we start to move the DNS of my name?
Yes,
So
yes.
I can get started with
Yes, yes, yes. So as long as you have enough content on there that you won't be embarrassed. So this is going to be a quick one, guys, for those of you that are hungry, including myself. You go into the home screen and see where it says preview site. If you would not be embarrassed by having whatever shows up here as your new website, then it's cool and good to go that you start moving the DNS over. It is not a forwarding. Guess who didn't follow the instructions? He's orange and is sitting in front of you. Guess who didn't follow the instructions and just decided to forward his domain name? It did not work. So this is not some cheap template that you can just forward the domain name. So you all got an email from me. And then Grace and Trudy's offices, you each have it to forward to your team. This is the instructions directly cut and paste from corporate that did work. I did not, when I did the forwarding on my own, thinking that Nick Libert knew all this crap, I was so wrong. So this is literally directly from corporate. You follow it step by step. And here's the beautiful thing. As much as Grace and Trudy and I would love to be your technology coach, email support@exitrealty.com. Look at Trudy. And because I'm like, this part right over my head. I can forward a domain madly in the middle of my sleep. I cannot, this DNS stuff was actually very new to me. And Derek from corporate had to help me out. This is the only franchise model I've ever met that when you email them, sometimes you even get a call. I mean, they're just like that. Please remember, in the middle of the night, they don't work 24 hours a day. They don't, Gus. Damn it. And I don't anymore either. So just follow these instructions and ignore the below it is the Zoom link for today's meeting. It's really cool stuff. It's stuff you don't have right now. It's stuff that you guys can collaborate with each other, hold each other accountable for, set up a session with us. I am very transparent with feedback because I'm also very transparent with what I still need to work on. I am building out my subsites. So for those of you guys that know that I have Look with Libert, List with Libert, the little allegory or allegorical, what Kim, alliteration, literally can't even say alliteration today. If you've got cute stuff like that, Marky Lemons, I didn't name drop her once at one time today. I'm going to do it at the end. Bit.ly, bit.ly. Shay, you've been doing some wonderful stuff. A lot of you guys, I've started to see use it more and more. Those are the free things that you can do to forward your little cute stuff to a sub-site. What is a sub-site? That is the community page, that's the blog that you want to do. That can be session 102 because I'm starting to see eyes glaze over, and I don't think it's because you want the food, it's because I'm scaring you. So I appreciate you guys at home. This will be up on my YouTube channel. Guys, let's go eat. Thank you, Grace and Trudy, for lunch, and we will see you all soon. I'm gonna eat here, right here in this room.